Hello. Hi,
Hello,
Internet.
everybody. Oh, there we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Clockwork Vines, Alstroemeria Alley. It has been a minute, but here we are. We are ready to do some blooming and growing and play some Clockwork Vines. If this is your first time joining us, well, welcome to this, what it will be. I never know every episode, but Clockwork Vines is a original setting. It's botanical steampunk. I utilized Call of Cthulhu mechanics and basic role playing mechanics to create an original setting where we're in an alternate universe, so to speak, of Victorian times. There's a lot of flowers. There's a lot of steampunk things. Like I said, I'm very committed to the botanical steampunk aesthetic. If you are familiar with Call of Cthulhu, you may notice that one aspect is missing. I ask people to make a lot of luck checks, but I do not ask anyone to make sanity checks because that is a mechanic that really doesn't contribute to the story that we're endeavoring to tell. And as I am not a mental health professional, but just a storyteller, it is not something I really feel comfortable with at my table. So it's not forgotten about, it's not missing, it is just something that has been removed. The people still look at me with the same type of dread every time I say make a luck check, but I personally do not understand it.
Maybe if my
Anyways.
luck wasn't trash, then it wouldn't be such a bad thing to do. But
Before we get started, I would like everyone who is watching to also know all of our players have communicated with not only myself but each other, our personal lines and veils. Um, but as viewers, we do care about your mental health and your triggers as well. There are certain themes that we will never cover, but for things that may be aligned with specific phobias and everything else, we do recommend that you take a step away, do what you need for your own self. Content warnings are added after the session is over if I think there's any material that may be a little bit sensitive. But we do have a wonderful little blurb that we read at the beginning of each, what is this called, session. And uh, who wants to read it today? Who has it up? It's usually Ryan. But if Ryan wants a break.
I'll do it.
All right.
I thought you were going to be off your game, and I was like, ha ha, steal, someone steal it.
Well, somebody else can do it if they want to. Because this is a live TTRPG session, and detailed list of creatures or plants related to phobias and triggers will spoil the players. We understand if you decide not to watch or tune in when something disturbs you as a viewer. Detailed content warnings about specific animals, insects, plants, and etc. will be provided in the description post-stream on the bot. This game will never, however, include heavy drug use, slavery, sexual assault, the glorification or glamorization of sexual or murderous predators or abusers, or delve into sacrificial rituals that involve sacrifice and the harm of children. This is a campaign that deals with heavy themes related to various literary themes, including man against man against nature, man against himself, and man against gods. This is a game that thrives on character development and role playing with combat and adventure as supporting cast members. All players had and maintained communication about their own lines and veils, and safety tools are being used behind the scenes.
And that is our opening little thing. If this was a movie, it would be, black in the background and then this text up there, but we read it for you. So, this is usually where I go previously on. But previously on Clockwork Vines, Alstroemeria Alley has been the most wholesome collective 8 hours of two different groups of people and new characters meeting each other. And last we left off, everyone was at the Carnation Cafe and Boarding House enjoying French toast made by one of our group dads, literally, father. And was a lot of normally you'd describe it as UST, but this was more like awkward lesbian intersections of every type of lesbian or bi trope you could think about. Just kind of being flustered by each other. We had Amazons, we had the Cassiopeia, we had Pete, who was just overwhelmed. We had the Herbos. We just had a wonderful convention of sapphic relatability with two scientists and a loving gay couple just watching on. As an 8-year-old showed everyone that a piece of dandelion fluff had come to life, so to speak, overnight, about the size of a small golf ball currently resting underneath a glass. But of course, this strange phenomena took back seat to French toast, which turns out to be not as foreign as everyone feared. And it just was a very heartwarming moment with the backdrop of impending doom. As we saw a clip of everyone's favorite friend, Thomas Tuberose, in his current confinement with his contingency plan that no one quite understands yet, slowly unfolding. So today, we will do a timey-wimey fast-forward thing past breakfast and some lunch as everyone gets themselves situated, and we'll have time to go pull everyone's favorite doctor from wherever they were. And we had several interested parties who heard about, and I'm putting this in quotations, having tea, and there being a get-together of similarly minded tea aficionados preparing to meet in a completely legal and above board way. So we'll start today where, not where we left off, but to get an idea of where everyone's favorite Dr. Lindsay had been. Because today, you did have Precious Emo did leave you some breakfast because she didn't quite trust what French toast may have been. A hearty, dependable farm type of breakfast. As she took her leave with everyone's favorite shopkeeper. So, Dr. Lindsay, let's. Currently, you have a tall. How could I describe him? Perpetually melancholy-looking individual, settled on a stool in your what equates to be your front room, holding a wrapped basket of probably fresh vegetables, who knows. And this happens to be Begonia. Begonia comes to visit you about once a week with vegetables that she doesn't quite tell you where she gets them from. She's about 14 or 15, a student or an occupant of the Abbey of Agrimony Orphans Home, which, though it is called an abbey, actually does not have any nuns or religious workers there. It just used to be an abbey, and then there were people like, hey, let's keep the name. But it serves a dual purpose as both a school and a place where the orphans live. This is your budding doctor in the making, who also does not like the sight of any bodily fluids at all, and is squeamish about band-aids, but does show up every day with the vegetables in a new story as she waits patiently for you to finish waking up. And she's always there at the oddest of times. Like, you know she should be in school right now, but she's not.
Yeah. And I mean, that's fair. Generally speaking, the liquids are supposed to stay on the inside, so who wants to see them? So I totally get where Begonia's coming from. So yeah, Dr. Lindsay just comes like walking out from like when Dr. Lindsay is ready for bed, he just goes to sleep. So the bedroom is like the least important room of the entire building. Like it is literally a closet that he's just turned into. Like he slid a mattress in there, and some blankets and pillows, and he just goes and like pulls a curtain closed behind him and like goes to sleep for however long, and then his sleep's going to be interrupted anyway. He's not going to spend much time in this room, so like why make it anything fancy? But he comes stumbling out from his closet, just sort of stretching. Oh, Begonia. What a pleasant surprise. Could you like some breakfast? What have you brought us this time?
Begonia stands at that awkward 5'6" height that people who are going to be tall happen to linger at in their mid-teens, where everyone assumes that's as tall as they're going to get, but you can tell they're still growing into their limbs. She's got thick, dark red hair that's curled so tightly that it gives not quite the Annie fro, but very close to the Annie fro, just more cloud-like and fluffy. She's got dark brown skin, bright hazel eyes, and just always seems sad. She's got resting sad face even when she's happy. She's just, I made, I didn't make it. I pulled some radishes. I've got some radishes for you today. And I think that this could probably cure something. Because like when I eat a radish, I don't want to eat anything else.
I mean, that's fair.
What's that medical condition when you eat something and you absolutely hate it and you don't want to eat anything else?
Teenager?
Teenager. And you see her put her basket aside and kind of pull out of her apron pocket this it was once a notebook. Now it is just a collection of pieces of paper stuck together and a little stub of a pencil. And she's like, teenage.
Yeah, it's from the Greek. Would you like some coffee? And Dr. Lindsay goes over to the stove. Dr. Lindsay perpetually has had this entire time from the beginning of season 1. What is often known as surgeon's coffee going on the stove, which is essentially just a pot that, as needed, gets filled with either water or coffee grounds, depending on what is low. And then occasionally, sadly, you have to dump out some of the grounds because you can't just have a pot full of grounds. And that is always a sad day because you're going to have to drink unflavorful coffee for a while. But he goes over and looks at it and then pours in a bit more water to top up the pot and throws a few more like lumps of coal into the oven or into the stove to heat it up. It's like, yeah, the coffee should be ready in about 10 minutes if you want to have a seat. How'd you get on with that anatomy textbook I gave you?
Well, that's a little complicated. I had to ask one of the sisters, and it's amazing we call them sisters, but they're like, we're not religiously affiliated. And I'm saying, but what else would we call you? Like, it's kind of awkward to call them anything else. But I asked them for like some chalk and some crayons or something because I needed to color in. Like, there were some pieces that was out. Like, I sat down there with Bitsy and we like made some very nice outfits because I think sometimes what you wear can also make you feel healthier. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, certainly a good attitude is important to overall health.
Yeah. But then it got real complicated because we're supposed to be getting a new student, like a little boy, and he's supposed to come in. Like his name is Cadence Callaway, something like that. But anyways, he's supposed to be coming in and he's supposed to be joining us for school. And they're like, be on your best behavior, so everybody like be in class. But it's boring. So I came to hang out with you, and I've got gossip.
You've got what? Sorry.
Gossip.
Oh, well then, and by this point, if Begonia's been coming around a lot, Dr. Lindsay knows how she takes her coffee, so he just like pours a couple of bugs. Dr. Lindsay takes it with enough honey that the spoon will stand up, and and Begonia, he just adds some like heavy cream and a spoon of honey, and slides it across the table to her, and is like, "Sit down, let's have a chat." Oh, have you had breakfast? I
can't eat anything because I ate this radish,
and
then the taste is still in my mouth.
No, that's fair. Oh, try this, and he goes over to his like herb garden that he has in the kitchen, and he just pulls a couple of like mint leaves off the thing, and it's like, oh, here, he crushes them up a bit, and it's like, just put that in your mouth for a bit. That'll take the taste of radish away.
You see, Begonia is mentally endeavoring to figure out, is there a polite way to turn down eating leaves? But considering you are a trusted medical professional, she just goes, well, I guess I can. All right, and just put them in my mouth. Just chow down.
Yeah, perfectly safe. Tasty even.
All right, I can do it because you are a medical professional. This is probably going to be good for me.
Yeah.
And she hypes herself up into just slowly putting the mint leaf in her mouth. And for a moment, it looks like her perpetual state of resting sad face is true for a moment. And then she chews slowly. Right then, so I hear this. That whole bunch of people went to the boarding house to get married.
Really?
Yep, that's what I heard.
When did this happen?
I don't know. There was something about like the French were going to be bringing some toast, and everyone was really excited, and like everyone was like trying to look their best, like under brush. Like some people actually like washed their faces and everything, and then they were going to a boarding house because there was like a queen or something there. Like there's someone named what was it? Cassiopeia the queen or something like that. And so like everyone is just trying to go and try to get married. So
is it possible that you were talking about French toast?
I was wondering, like, does toast have different like qualities depending on what geographical region it's actually from, or was it that the French were, because they were like, oh, French toast, we're gonna go eat French toast, and people were like, ooh, I can eat French toast if you're paying me, and then someone else was like, it's good.
I mean, certainly if you eat toast anywhere else in the world, it's actually toasted. Here in Britain, they don't actually do that. They show it to a toaster and then put it on a plate for you. But yes, if you do go somewhere else, they actually toast it. It gets a bit of color on it. French toast, they actually add eggs and milk. That's a bit of a custard.
So it's like combining everything before you even put it in your mouth. Like you've got your eggs and you've got your milk and you've got your bread, and they just put it all together.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like creating a breakfast shortcut. Like how you go down to an alley 2 blocks down and it takes you to a place I don't know about faster than if you go all the way around.
Strangely specific, but yes.
Right, because like I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this because you're a doctor and you've been very nice to everybody, and because if I'm going to be your assistant, right, like one day I'm going to have to like be prepared, right?
No,
So you know how everyone has been talking about tea and like going to like a tea party, and everyone's been really hush about the tea thing.
No, I'm used to the English going on about their tea.
Yeah, well, this is not real tea. Like that's code.
Oh.
Like this is code for like everybody gets together and then just beats each other until money comes out of something. It's like a competition.
That's strange even for this place, but that does explain Emo's sudden interest in tea.
Yeah. There wasn't any tea parties for a minute because, the monarch was just like, people were getting hurt and then other people wasn't getting paid and then there was like weird stuff happening. But apparently the tea house is open again.
And do you know when the next tea party is happening?
Well, you didn't hear this from me, right? Because I'm a child. I don't know things.
No, absolutely.
Right, tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, perhaps I should stop by for some tea.
I think they'd love it. I mean, please don't go get hit. Like, because if you get hit, nobody can help the other people that get hit. But I think, like, you might find it to be, like, a wonderful cultural experience.
That's not how I've described being hit by an Englishman up to this point, but I'll take you at your word.
This is Hippogonico. Oh, right. Yep, that's the thing. But I just wanted to drop off these radishes, and I wanted to be like, I'm studying anatomy and everything because I'm going to be like the first doctor from the abbey, and
You're darn right, you.
I'm going to build my office like right beside yours. Like it's gonna have like slightly different decorations because like we've got different aesthetic. I look up that word. I know what it means now.
Oh, very good. And absolutely, your doctor's office should look completely different from mine. You have to make it your own.
Right, so I'm going to leave before someone actually comes in that's sick or bleeding or anything because it really grosses me out. But I just wanted to make sure that I brought you some radishes because I don't want these to actually make it to the abbey.
No, that's absolutely fair. And if you find any more, wherever you find them, feel free to bring them by. Don't forget we have class in a few nights from now.
Right, I will definitely be here, and maybe this time I can do it without the blindfold.
Very good. That'll be a grand step for you. I think you'll find most of medicine much easier if you don't have the blindfold on.
Yep, baby steps, baby. You know, I think it's funny they use the term baby steps, but have you ever seen how quickly a baby can move? Like you blink and it's somewhere else.
No, it's true.
Yep. Well,
All right.
and you see Begonia just get up, stretch, brush off her clothing, give a approximation of a curtsy, but it's more like a half, like I'm a curtsy and I'm going to bow because I haven't decided what I want to do as I shuffle out the door, and
Yeah.
then pauses to look back. All right, the big one, the big lady that was here yesterday that I absolutely didn't see because I was snooping. She's over there also trying to get married to the French people with the toast.
All right. Well, thank you. I think I should probably pop by then and see what's going on. Also, I haven't had breakfast. Finished. It was a treat. Oh, before I forget, and Dr. Lindsay goes over to like a cabinet of. I don't know if in this time period they have like doctors conferences or things Dr. Lindsay goes to and stuff like that. But I'm imagining that like people who go to most conferences, he's acquired like just ridiculous amounts of notebooks and pens and so he goes over to like a drawer, opens it up, and it's just stacked full of like pads of paper and notebooks. And he was like, "Here you go. You might find this useful for your anatomy studies." And he hands Begonia like a new notebook.
You see Begonia's eyes just light up because while people give as much as they can to the Abbey, it really is some place that has been sustained by people's generosity and so on. And while there's more funds and things that could be going there, it's a complicated situation. So this notebook that she is not going to have to share with anybody, that is not going to take away from supplies at the school. It just means so much to her as she just clutches it to her chest and goes, I wrote that you found. I'm going to be the best doctor that can't actually watch the medical procedures but is there for moral support that you ever know.
I have no doubt that will be true.
And she turns and skips out the office, happy as can be, and then pauses. There's a lot of fluff outside your office if you might want to sweep it away, and then continues on her way.
So yeah, Dr. Lindsay is going to finish his coffee. Priorities. And sort of tidy things up around the place. Put on his jacket and grab his medical bag and head out across to the boarding house.
Alrighty there, delivering the boarding house. By now, I am hoping, because I endeavor not to assume, that everyone, minus Cal and Marty, are around the table in the boarding house dining room area. It's kind of a self-service sort of situation. There's a kitchen that people can access. There's French toast. Somebody has gotten some eggs. A variety of different breakfast drinks that are time period appropriate, as everyone is towards the end of whatever meal they were having together. Pete has escaped, seeing as they have given all the information that they actually know, and have at one point, and it may have been when somebody cut into a piece of French toast, or it may have been when somebody ate a piece of French toast. But there was one point where Peony Pete reached their proverbial peak of being able to stand it and just said, you know what? I will see you later. And just kind of left with a dazed expression on their face. And this is where we pick up where the scientists, where Desdemona, where Sim, Cassiopeia, Emo, Genevieve has also taken her leave at some point to go see to affairs at her shop. But that leaves for convenience sake, the rest of our cast of characters. Gathered around this amazing table. Even Frisia First, the new CEO of the Royal Railroads, is a little bit calmer than she has been for a minute as she quietly sips from a cup of tea and tries not to think about the invoices that she has to finish signing. And with that, what's everybody doing? How's brunch going?
Well, if I remember correctly, I couldn't find the nutmeg, so is not my best work, but just put some extra cinnamon on there. All good.
Emma is explaining to Sim that at one point she tried boxing in the men's league, and she says the problem was that the men that are in my weight class, they can't really keep up with me. As you know, men tend to be a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit big, and so the men in my weight class, they were a lot smaller than me, and it wasn't really a fair fight.
You're very big. It's very impressive.
That's what farm life will do for you.
Yeah. I didn't grow up in. I grew up in the city, so I didn't do farm work, but I worked a lot on the docks as a kid. So yeah, a lot of lifting things there and such. Yeah.
These are definitely professions that would lead yourself to being quite strong, I believe.
Thank you. I'm very excited for later. I can't wait to see what you can do.
I'm excited to show you.
Fantastic. I like you.
Besties. I almost came up with the term I wrote down. I said Bobo besties. Because they're both himbos and herbos and they're besties.
Good. Sim and Emma just like compare like scars. Like see this one right here. He had a knife in his gloves for some reason. I think he wanted to kill me, but it didn't work because I just punched him in the face and then his face broke.
That's cheating. Why would he do that?
I don't think he liked me.
I've never had that problem. I got this one in one of my recent bouts. Patched it up myself. The doctor said I did a good job, although I'm not sure. I think he was just being nice.
I think it looks good. Marty patches me up most of the time, except when he's not around. Then I do it, but he's better at it than I am.
I've decided to take some of them courses that the doctor is doing, so then maybe I could patch you up, and if you took them, you could patch me up. That might be a good idea.
That does sound like a good idea. All right, let's do it.
And then there's a montage. Sim and Emma at classes learning how to make stitches.
Sim's just got a book like upside down.
Oh my goodness. And you have Frisia that's talking to her new 2 employees, apparently, in the last 24 hours. She's grown her workforce. She's got a personal assistant and personal security, and she's just... So I know we've got the paintings. We got the paintings and all of that, and the fact that they move. I think that might be the first order of like business on the grounds. Get rid of the moving paintings. Yeah. Pay. Yes, that's a thing that I'm going to have to do is pay money. And that is something that I want to do for both of you. And there's a lot of money because, crooked corporations. There's always an excess there. This European burnt bread is delicious. I mean, what is it? French toast. This is
Thank you.
yes.
All I asked is if you wanted some milk. I just
Oh,
don't know how we got here.
oh, milk. Milk is good. Good for the bones. Yes, please.
Cool. I'm gonna go get her milk, and then when I give it to her, I would turn back and like lean over to Cal and be like, "Okay, will you be affected negatively if I quit this job right away? Like, will this teach you a really bad lesson about like quitting and not holding up, your side of the deal, or will this teach you something about like sometimes when the going gets tough, you literally just quit? Like, which of these lessons, like, I don't know if Marty will be mad about what kind of lesson I'm instilling in you."
And it always seems to be Cassiopeia that kind of ruins Cal's stealth attempts, because Cal had gone to bed, had been put into bed, and then had made his way back downstairs and was probably halfway under the table and halfway out, like being passed down food. So Cal is kind of
he's reaching his hand up, and I take his hand and pull him out and be like, "Hey Cal, what's up? Good, quick check-in."
I was like, Oh, looks over to where Sim is. Looks over to where the scientists are. How did I get here? I have no idea. I'm not actually here.
Cal, hey, quick check-in. Cal, look at me. I'm not your dad's. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to be mad at you for breaking rules?
I just wanted some French toast, and I knew that this dad's not gonna get mad at me if I want some French toast. My other dad is passed out in bed. He's just tired.
Listen, you could have just told me before you left, and I would have saved you some.
I think you should keep the job because Miss Frisia looks like she needs help, but maybe you could like remove the financial aspect of it if it makes you feel awkward, and just do someone a favor. But she just really needs a lot of help. And
a favor. You had me a favor. Cal, have I ever told you that you are so smart? I like grab Cal's cheeks and be like, "I love you so much." Make sure when you're reaching up, you pull the tablecloth slightly so it looks like when things are being moved, it's because someone like slipped on her or something. Okay, I'll see you later. I like push you back on the table. Bye. Hi.
Nobody saw this, but this is normal.
I'll return to the group to my new boss and be like, "How about like?" I'm assuming she's still rambling.
Yep.
Hey, quick check-in. On my end, I don't mind if I'm being paid. I'm very lucky that I am betrothed practically to someone with great wealth. I look over at Samuel and then I look back. Practically betrothed. Anyways, what if we just instead of all the work, you just owe me? If I just do you this solid, Call it a favor.
Frisia says, somehow that you said that and like I got goosebumps. So
that's weird. I don't know why that would happen. Maybe it's because I'm so beautiful. I actually get that a lot. That people get goosebumps around me. I actually do get that a lot. I look at Desdemona like.
And then Frisia looks at Desdemona. Do you want a job, or do you want to also just do me a favor? Because there's no contractual obligation when there is a favor, but it's also a really kind of nice thing.
I will take pay. I doubt there is anything you could do for me that I couldn't already do myself. No offense.
None taken, because that is probably 100% true. And I'm okay with that, because I am a self-confident woman who is a CEO
That's
for
correct.
a $1 million company that is riddled with lots of like legal fees and issues right now because my former boss was just oh my goodness. So yeah, I'll pay you. We'll talk about pay, like in favors, and I'm gonna I'm gonna get back to the office now. And get some work done. And you all can start tomorrow.
Sounds
and
good.
and I will have some contracts kind of laid out and everything ready. Okay.
All right. See ya tomorrow.
Perfect.
Is it me and Desdemona working together? Who would have thunk it? Anyways, see you later, Frisia. Sleep well, or try to sleep. I don't know.
You know, there comes a point in your life when you go, "What is sleep?" Like,
I'm gonna leave this conversation because
Yeah.
you're making me stressed just in proximity.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go now.
That's fair. And Frisia just stands up carefully, looks to Sim. Thank you so much for this breakfast, and for all of you
course.
for letting me feel like I'm part of something that doesn't make me feel morally compromised in any way, shape, or form. It has been a while since I've had this type of camaraderie. And I'm going to make sure all of you get everything that you were promised moving into the alley. I'm going to make sure you get a nice office space, and I'm going to make sure that I know that it's not my job to make up for the wrongs that my former boss did, because he's 100% responsible for all of his, financial and professional crimes. But I really do care, and I hope that after I get through the stress of inheriting something I never asked for, that I can have like calmer interactions with you all and be in a different place. So, all right.
Thank you, Miss Frisia. You're a very kind person.
I'm gonna go because that just set off a whole nother thing, and I'm.
All right, I'll gently question. All right, great. See you later. You contemplate that, okay?
Yeah.
And I'll close the door. I'll turn to Sim and the group and be like, "She's so nice. Like she's so nice, but it's so hard not to con her. Everything in my brain's like, wow, the easiest mark just presented to you on a gold platter, and I'm just like."
You are such great con that you refuse steady pay for promise of nebulous favor.
Yeah.
I learned so much from you.
You apparently don't understand the difference between someone who literally obviously is up to her ears in paperwork and confusion and definitely doesn't, oh no, my internet is bad.
You're fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, it froze for y'all, so I was like, this girl is up to her ears in paperwork and is probably an HR nightmare, right? Why would I want money that can be, tracked and put me on the map when instead I can just have a CEO of a giant firm owe me something under the table? That sounds a lot more appealing.
Cass, I don't know if I've ever actually seen you con somebody.
To be fair, I don't know in what situation I would. I gesture to the scientist Desdemona, a giant Amazon person, and you, and be like, who would I con here? Who would I con? What would I get? I don't point to this one. What would I get from conning her? What would I get?
Would it make you feel better if I let you con me?
That's not how it. You know what?
Is it not?
Sim, I love you so much. You are such a good father figure in a very weird, you're only 10 years older than me way. But that's not how it works. And every day I think I should con someone just so you understand, even a little bit what I'm trying to do here. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
You have Cal from under the table go, Yeah, and also because my other dad is pretty scary, and it kind of keeps things in check a little bit, I think.
True.
I mean,
he
I'm
is
not
pretty scary.
scared by Marty. I wasn't gonna con him. Why would I be scared? I don't want to con Marty. I don't want to steal from two dads and a kid. That's weird. What would they have to offer?
Wait, is conning stealing?
Can
Even
Cal and
Desdemona
I,
looks at you like,
can we all collectively share a love except for Emma? I'm
No.
assuming Emma.
Even Emo knows what conning means.
We all exchange a collective look. And then I will look at, oh man, who should I look at in this moment? I'll look at Cal as if to say, should we tell him?
I thought it was just acting.
It is. You know, I'm really tired. I ate a lot of French toast. I'm going to go to bed.
It's like 11 a.m.
All right, see y'all later.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what are the scientists up to doing all of this, like, amazing bonding?
Modus is reading a book. That's Modus, just me in middle school.
Yeah, I think Sammy was trying to look at the creature under the glass, but just can't look away from the display in front of him from everybody else. So
I
he's
love the idea.
he's eating the rest of his breakfast.
Eating, observing, freaking, looking over the group, hating his life, looking, eating, observing.
I'll go to Cal and I'll say, okay, you've had your French toast. I do need you to go back upstairs now. I have to talk to my friends here about some very serious things. So, yep.
And Cal just pauses, like, one hand is a glass of milk, the other is like half demolished piece of French toast.
You can take her with you.
And what about my dander rabbit?
I need to hold on to that for now.
Do you like that name? I gave it that name. Do you think the scientists will like that name? Dander rabbit.
I like it. I think it's because it's dandelion and also it's rabbit. So it tells you exactly what it is. It's very clever. They seem like people who appreciate clever things.
Cal wiggles, climbs away from under the table, and then like, oh, well, hello, everybody. And at this time, I'm assuming that Dr. Lindsay is also coming through the door, and Cal, little 8-year-old, still in his pajamas, glass of milk, French toast, finishes climbing from under the table. I was never here. And then he makes a run for the stairs and heads his way back upstairs.
Okay. Hi. It's been like a month since we played. Did we meet Dr. Lindsay?
Briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hi, Dr.
pretty
Lindsay.
Good morning.
I'm pretending to go up the steps and I run into Dr. Lindsay. Oh, hey. The one with the accent. How's it going?
That's going very well, Ms. Conn. How are you?
You know what? I like you suddenly. Miss Conn is hilarious. And you're cool. Where have you been?
I've literally been across the street at my office.
Oh, you didn't see the giant shindig of stuff happening? Or were you busy? Or
Well, the doctoring keeps me a bit busy.
being a doctor, she'll lean forward. Being a doctor in this small town, is it profitable?
Well, I'm not really in it for the profits. I haven't gone hungry in like years.
Fascinating. Cool. Do you want some French toast?
No, I'd love some French toast.
Oh, cool. Because Sim and also other people, I think, all contributed. I saw Osmotus really hide something. I don't know why he hid seasoning, but he's a scientist, so he probably knows what he's doing.
Aye, well, that sounds fascinating. Are you off somewhere?
Yeah, I look at my father figure who doesn't know what conning is, and then I look at the stairs where Kyle is going upstairs, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna go keep Samuel busy. Please enjoy your breakfast. I'll go and sit by Samuel and observe the bunny also. But mostly be staring at Samuel, then looking at the bunny, then looking at Samuel. But looking in that way that people who want to be seen as cute are like this.
Dr. Lindsay is going to there are at least 3 people now staring at this. I'm assuming it's under some sort of a glass or yeah. So there's at least 3 people who are staring intently at this bit of fluff underneath this glass. So Dr. Lindsay will just set his bag down and sit down and look at it. What does he see?
So let's get some rolls. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, I have biology. They sort of make you take that in medical school.
That is a thing.
Yeah, can we roll who are observing it to see if there's anything else we can grasp from it?
I'm not going to make you roll for that because it's just been tiny and nobody has added water to it. So it has just been tiny, about the size of a golf ball. There are no clear features on it. It just trembles a little bit and is this fluffy little thing. But you can tell that it seems to be breathing or some approximation of breathing. It expands, it contracts, it expands, it contracts and quivers a little bit like a tiny baby bunny with no clear features yet. And you see this as well, Dr. Lindsay. I'm not going to make you roll to recognize there is a breathing piece of fluff underneath the glass.
This is fascinating.
Yeah. So my son, Cal, said that he grew that. He called it the Dandy Bunny. He said that he grew it in his room from all of the fluff that's outside, and Dr. Lindsay and Samuel and Asmodeus, I thought that the 3 of you are very smart, and so maybe that you could tell me what this is and if my son is in danger, and if so, how much, because that's a thing that I would like to not be happening. Also, Pete was in here, and they told us about some sort of ancient wall that broke, and then the fluff came through, and there was something about a dragon. I'm still a little unclear on all the details.
Okay, well, I'll put a pin in that and talk to Pete about it later on. Has anybody given it any water or fed it?
Don't give it water. I jump across the table, my boobs almost hit the glass. Oh God, okay. Don't give it. I don't think we should give it water. Just trust me. I have this bad feeling in this area, and I gesture to my boobs, but I mean my chest. I feel it in my heart. Don't give that thing water. I had a rough experience with seeds once, and now I'm a little suspicious of, animated plants.
If it's alive, we'll have to feed it eventually.
You can feed it, just don't give it water. What does Fluff eat?
Probably water.
No, I don't think we should give it water.
It is plant. It would feed on water, but we don't want homunculus growing. I propose just leaving it there and seeing what happens.
If it starts to look like it's breathing less, someone give it, I don't know, some resuscitation. Boop, 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 like that. You know how to do that, right, Dr. Lindsay?
I do, but...
I observe your pinkies to see if you could just press on it with your pinkies.
I think the better plan would be to just give it a bit of water first and just see what happens.
Oh, I remember, Cassiopeia has the biggest war flashbacks of almost exploding her tits off when she put seeds in her cleavage. I really don't think that's a good... I know y'all don't think I'm smart, but please, let's not give it water.
I think you're smart.
Yeah, and I cast no judgment on your intelligence one way or the other. I just think a living creature, we should give it a bit of water.
If Samuel sees Cassiopeia breaking down, he'll put a hand on her shoulder. Relax, we're not gonna do anything dangerous.
If you say so. I'm just telling y'all, you were in the room when the plant thing became me. It was a fucking... that concept of being alive is forever changed for me. It's forever... I don't know what counts as being alive anymore.
It is where I agree with Cassiopeia, but if the homunculus starts growing, it's off with its head.
It's gonna grow.
If it's dangerous, we'll take care of it.
I'm really glad we're having this talk not when Cal's in the room. Thank God.
If it's not dangerous, please don't destroy my son's science project. He worked very hard on that.
But I'd rather not do anything here in this boarding house. Probably somewhere safer.
Miss Frisia said that you would have a lab, right?
Yeah, I was gonna check that out later.
Ooh, are you and Osmos gonna share a lab? Like you're like lab partners? That's cute.
Should we?
No, go ahead.
Should we go to the lab to do the science test?
I love Sims. Just rolling with the flow, not knowing exactly what that entails, but let's go to do the science thing.
Well, labs are where you do science tests, right? So there you go.
I need Emo to do two things for me. One, I need you to roll a luck check for me.
It's a percentile dice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 97.
Okay, so...
Oh.
Well, shoot, okay.
Emma was such a good character.
I love Emo.
Emma was pouting, by the way, when you said yes to the French toast because she made you breakfast and now she thinks you didn't need it.
Oh.
Oh, no.
That is so precious.
Okay, what was the other thing you needed me to do?
Well, I was going to have you do something else, but you didn't pass the luck check, so... give me a second.
Well, no one has given, like, no one has brought shown Dr. Lindsay where the French toast is. So Dr. Lindsay actually reaches into his bag, pulls out this, like, linen wrapped bundle that is Emo's breakfast that she left for him. He was never not going to eat it. Like, that's just not a thing that happened. So
Emma, like, beams. She sees that, and she feels so good. She feels much better now.
All right. I need everyone now to give me a luck check. And if you succeed, let me know.
Okay.
I want to make this very clear to everyone. When I had to do a lot of luck checks last time, it was because it was raining and the seeds were exploding. If y'all put me in danger again, I swear to God, fucking...
Do I roll again?
Yes, please.
Okay, this time it was a 23, and my luck check is 45, so.
59 out of 75.
Okay.
I got a 75 out of 55. It's cool. Okay. Everything's fine.
24 out of 60.
Okay.
74 out of 50.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Asmodus?
43 out of 60.
Okay. If you succeeded, you are the ones that noticed that the little tiny ball of fluff that's underneath that glass hasn't been given any water, no. But if you're not mistaken, it looks like it either gives a hop or a jump or a aggressive enough twitch that the glass moves just a little bit. If you
Desdemona's
did,
just gonna slap a meaty Amazon hand on the top of the glass to keep it from moving.
if you failed the roll, you did not notice that happen.
So I just think Desdemona's grabbing it possessively. All right, relax, Desdemona. No one's trying to take the weird bunny thing. Relax. Why are you
No one has
grabbing
to
it?
try to take weird bunny thing. It just moved on its own accord.
What? I like get closer to it. Sim,
Yeah, I was able to
why
move the
is
glass.
Was interesting.
I like back up because I was about to see Samuel or like doing science thing. All right. What y'all thinking?
What's Emo's reaction?
Emo is like whatever because animals are supposed to do things. And she has fully decided to believe that this is just a regular old bunny that just looks funny. And she's never seen city bunnies. Maybe it's like a squirrel bunny hybrid. She doesn't know, so she's like, whatever. That's a thing.
Yep, it's a squunny.
And with Desdemona standing right next to her, she feels pretty safe. So she's just decided that everything's cool. Everything's chill. Because if she didn't, her poor little brain would break.
Emma is so cute. I love her so much.
I just know she said city bunny and the worst song popped in my head. Okay.
Just a city bunny.
No.
Wanna race itself to charge.
Mm,
And that's all you can
That's all I
say.
could sing. That's all I could sing. Sorry.
this. Yep. Anyways, as this is happening, how can I describe this? Underneath that glass, you see you see a few of those. It looks like fluff of fur, but you see a few start to fluff off, kind of like a dandelion seed, how it goes, as if it's shaking itself off and loses some patches, quite to speak, of fur that are actually those little dandelion. I call them dandelion sprites because I have a fanciful mind. But the tiny dandelions, and they just sort of float like a tiny cloud underneath that glass around the golf ball sized creature.
Is it supposed to do that?
Ooh. It's my first time seeing this stuff.
Right. Is it? I'm mostly just worried about it being dangerous. Last time we ran into the plants like this, some of them were dangerous and some of them weren't. And I really cannot tell the difference between the dangerous ones and the not dangerous ones. So I would just, I want just an answer. I have a lot of questions. I just want one of them to be answered.
I think just as a general precaution, we should probably treat it as dangerous until it's determined it's not.
Aye.
Dr. Lindsay, you're the only person here that was actually part of Alstroemeria Abbey for season 1. So I need you to roll me an idea check or a no check, and I will let you decide which one.
Let's go with no.
Okay.
All right. was an excellent choice. That is 70 under 85. So
All right. As you're watching this and you're thinking about things coming to life and you're thinking about squunnies or whatever the situation might be going in your brain, you remember, it pops in your head clear as day, a few drops of a mysterious blue liquid put on a swab, and how that swab began to sprout and grow into the original wood that was used to create it in the first place. And that image keeps flickering in your mind. And while there's not any, as you all so painfully dubbed, super sap in, in sight, that thought keeps popping in your head as you observe this living organism with plant-like characteristics.
I think we need to get this somewhere we can keep it better contained. I don't know much about this, but I don't think a glass is going to keep it safe or us safe for very much longer. Because if each of those little bits of fluff is about to turn into one of those, this glass is no longer safe.
I can just like hold on to it really tight.
That's plan B, I think.
Okay, so we need a plan A. Plan A
Yes.
is not. I thought plan A was the glass. So plan C.
Yeah. Yeah, plan A was the glass, but now we need a new plan, so we have to come up with a new plan A, because the old plan A isn't good anymore.
Okay.
It's more of a plan A minus, I guess. Yeah.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Does anyone have a tank we could put it in? Something larger, at least temporarily.
Dr. Lindsay reaches into his bag. No. But seriously, sorry, go ahead.
I'll go pull out like a Dutch oven.
I mean,
is there a place in town that sells small animals, like lizards and fish and other things?
I mean, there's probably somewhere on the alley that does, I would imagine.
A little pet store?
That's me talking, not Dr. Lindsay. Dr. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can find a terrarium or something.
Now, I'm going to allow you all to do something because I am being kind today. I will let somebody volunteer to be the one who rolls this next luck check.
Get the best luck.
Who has the highest luck?
I think both me and Paul have 60.
I have 75.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's
I only have
Desdemona.
55.
Yay, Desdemona.
All right.
Save us.
That was a 100. I can't be trusted to roll dice.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
With these.
So do we die?
Oh, no. No. Hey, I was not. Jesus.
No regrets.
And then you all die after being far away from each other for a month, and you finally get to play and you're having a good time. You die.
You do not die.
Welcome to Call of Cthulhu, bitches.
But not Honey's version of Call of Cthulhu.
I was going to say, that would be pretty on brand for this game.
Anyways, I'm going to ask a couple of strange questions, and I just want you to go with it.
Yep.
Who is currently touching the table?
The table or the cup?
The table and the cup. I forgot someone
No,
just
That's
I'm
the
at
Mona.
Me as
I'm-
well.
I'm just leaning against like Sammy or something, like I'm just standing by.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Lindsay is currently eating breakfast, so
Yeah, I'm seated at the table, so
I
I'll
imagine
actually, I'll actually do a luck roll to see if I'm touching the table at this particular moment.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I don't
Dr.
think
Lindsay
I'm-
knows no elbows on the table.
I don't think I'm touching it. I'm probably standing up, and like Samuel has his hand on me while I'm just standing and upset.
Yeah, but Dr. Lindsay could just have a hand resting on the table while he's eating. So, and I failed my luck roll. So yes, Dr. Lindsay has a hand on the table.
I imagine at this moment Sim is collecting dishes
Mhm.
to go wash. So
Okay, so
probably not
yeah.
touching the table.
Scientists. I know Samuel is Asmodeus touching the table, or is he just reading a book and watching from behind it?
Paul, you're muted, I believe. You're fine on Zoom, but you might be hard muted on your device.
Technical difficulties are a thing when you stream.
Just want everyone to know if something bad happens that Dr. Lindsay is living his best treant life. And
I mean, I'm the one that's basically on top of the thing. Unfortunately, I am a tank. So
You did roll the 100 though, so if someone's
I-
gonna get
listen,
fucked,
I'm
it should be
prepared.
Desdemona.
Yeah.
I'm a unit. I can tank it. I'm fine.
I'm a unit.
I think that as soon as Sim started doing dishes, Emma would have gone to help.
Them besties, those
Aw.
Embo besties. Okay.
That's always good when your DM sighs and then rolls dice.
more than one day.
Yep.
Anyways, as you all discuss what to and what not to do, or what should be happening or should not be happening with this tiny ball of fluff, such beauty from a tiny seed, and all of these little fluffs floating under the glass like a really odd type of reverse snow globe, because no one shook it, it's just rising. You have a few pieces that stick to the glass from the inside, a few pieces that stick to the table, because nobody put anything underneath the glass where the device is. And everywhere where one of these seeds particularly lasts, it begins to sprout and or grow, as in it becomes rooted on the surface in which it rests. And you start to hear the faint sound of cracking, and a few spider webs of cracks form in that glass. You all start to see these tiny, almost vein-like protrusions come from underneath the glass and snake across the surface of the table. Areas that are damper than others seem to speed up the growth of these particular things. And then once exposed to the air, once quote unquote reaching freedom, there's a few seconds before it just stops. And you have all these tiny green lines embedded into the wood of the table, and these tiny floofs of dandelion fluff starting to make themselves at home and quiver ever so slightly. And that's what happened.
Dr. Lindsay is going to reach into his bag and root around for a bit and then pull out a sample jar. It's usually used for other things, but right now...
Yeah, Sam is going to pull some of his vials out of his bag.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not a purpose-made, like it's not a, you didn't go to a scientific warehouse and buy like sample jars. It's literally like a mason jar that like, he sterilized and keeps in his bag. So like it's about, it's basically just a pickle jar. It just happens to be the jar that he, grabbed and put it in his bag a couple of days ago. But yes, he unscrews the top, and pops the little seal off, and then like puts the jar down over top of the glass, and then how to. I mean, they're gonna hate whoever is here is gonna hate him. But he grabs like a big scalpel, not the little one for like delicate work, but the big one that like needs to cut through bone and stuff like that. No, but like a big scalpel, like just a larger scalpel, and like carves away the surface of the table. Basically, like whittles off that section, and like pops it into the jar, and then as quickly as possible, like closes the jar and tightens it. So now there's the glass with all the fluff, hopefully, and like about whatever the diameter of the glass was, chunk of table, like about a half-inch thick or however deep the roots went, inside this jar. And it's like, okay, you can do whatever you want inside there. We'll
Property damage. What are the other people's reactions? The scientists are taking samples. Desdemona, at the point of ground zero, what is your reaction to watching these things try to escape?
They're all like sprouting on the table now, right?
Yes.
And this building is made of wood, right?
Yes.
She's gonna hoist up the table like after they have the samples, and she'll just shout, "Someone open the door! I'm tossing this outside."
Okay, give me an effort. I'm definitely gonna make you do an effort roll.
Now I roll a 6.
Okay, so that even beats your hardest. So, of course, on that one, I need everyone who was sitting at the table who hasn't. Well, let me say like this. Let me get each person's response to this experience, and then we will address the table being lifted up by She-Hulk over there. All right. Dr. Lindsay is getting samples. Samuel, you're getting your sample jar out. Your vials.
Yeah, you're just gonna back up Dr. Lindsay, like collecting as much of these things as possible.
Asmodeus.
So they don't spread.
Asmodeus would be backing away from the table, but intently watching what's going on to see if there's any more spread.
I need you, because you have a science thing related to astronomy, correct?
Yes.
Go ahead and give me that roll. Tell me if you succeed, and I'll come back to you in a second.
Yes, I succeeded.
All right. I'm going to make a note, and I'm going to come back to you on that. What is Cassiopeia's reaction?
What is her? I don't know. She's exhausted herself with everyone, please listen to me. She's just like sitting there like, this might as well happen. This might as well happen. You know what? You fucking goddamn tripped, but it's fine. Cool.
Okay.
And also like standing back and like kind of standing by Samuel, kind of keeping an eye.
Emo's reaction to all of this as you turn around. You're not directly in the line of fire, and you and Sim may not actually notice what is going on. I'll let that be up to you as you're getting the dishes. You turn around to take another run at dishes, and this is what you say.
Emo's like, you could have asked. I would have helped you get the table out. What if you pulled a muscle? You're supposed to stretch before you lift heavy things.
Bold of you to assume I am not always limber.
Emo doesn't know what to do with that information. Her eyes go wide and she leaves the room back to the kitchen to do more dishes.
Sim's
My
just like
one job.
working really hard on this one like spot that just won't come clean.
I stare at Emma's reaction and be like, I've seen so many reactions to Desdemona. This is my first time seeing that one. It's very fascinating. There really is someone for everyone, huh?
I will say, if it makes everybody's directions easier, I don't just eat the table out from under them. Like, I do like that little like test lift. Like,
All right. So we're gonna do this.
Sam would just assume Desmond might have just like would just destroy the table. So he's just surprised that she didn't just lift it out of the room.
oh, I'm gonna wreck it once it's outside, but I just don't want this infecting the building proper.
Alrighty then. And so, as you lift, and I will allow you to get this table, as you lift it though, since thankfully there's not as many dishes on the table as there were before. Nothing is clattering and falling apart like it originally was, because you've got two amazing people who thought to start cleaning the table off. We're going to say, for the sake of narrative flow, a lot of people have backed up away from the table. The scientists have gotten the samples that they need and so on. And the way that this boarding house is arranged, they had to get the table in there somehow, so it's not as if your way is blocked. But as you lift and prepare to get this out of here, and I'm going to have you do a couple more rolls to see how effective this is. So the difficulty of those rolls will minimize if you do have assistance from like Mo or someone else, for the sake of transparency. But before we get there, Asmodeus, the scientist who looks to the stars quite often, you may notice how some of these new little seeds that have broken out from under the glass and are trying to creep free, the pattern that seems random to everyone else on the surface of this wood, to you, for a brief moment, you recognize a constellation-like pattern. Oh, my brain.
Oh,
And the constellation-like pattern that you notice that is laid out is very floral in nature. This is the constellation Cassiopeia, which you normally only see in northern skies. But you see how these have embedded into the table, the shape that it forms, and because you are a scientist and an astronomer first and foremost, what seems random to other people, you can almost see in your mind the star map before Desdemona begins lifting the table and starting to bring it towards the exit. Forgive me, my brain is a very strange place to live in. So as this is all happening, Desdemona, are you seeking help from someone else to help navigate and wiggle it out, or are you Hulk smashing your way out of this building with this table?
I'm pretty much whole smacking my way out. But if
Okay.
anyone wants to help, I'm not going to stop them from helping.
Okay. Mo or anyone else, are you going to provide assistance with guiding this table out of the boarding house? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing dishes.
I don't think I'd be able to move fast enough to do it.
Yeah, Dr. Lindsay will have a moment of like, maybe someone should give Desdemona a hand. We're doing enough damage to the building as it is.
Oh, yeah. I got, yeah.
Not a problem. I'll help.
Looks for a place to like set the dishes down and then just there, just like on the floor, and he just comes over to help.
I'll pick up the dishes from the floor and put them and start like drying them and putting them away. Fucking, god damn it, fucking. Hey, Asmodeus, why are you staring at what are you staring at so intently? You're furrowing your brows. Like that one time where we all were like running out into the field and we looked back at y'all. No, like you're making that face. Are you okay?
I didn't hear. Was that to me or?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's Osmos. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I'm not. So I'm staring intently at the table, even as they're trying to throw it out. I want to see if I can observe if the pattern is changing. So, as everyone's trying to move the table out, I'm going to be focused on it and kind
That's
of
why I was.
all
That's
the
what
way
I was hoping. Hey,
to the
Osmos.
door.
Osmos, are you okay? Don't get attached to the table. We can get you a new table. Why are you following it? Hey, Osmos, quick check-in. Hey, Sogmo, he's lost it. He's lost it. Osmos, you're the only two brain cells. You two are the only two brain cells. Come back.
Yeah, I kind of hear the words, but I'm so focused on trying to see any minute changes.
I turned to Samuel.
If
All my focus is there.
If Emo sees that Cassiopeia is trying to help Asmodeus, like she's worried about her, worried about him, then Emma's gonna run over there and like kind of gently push Asmodeus aside and take the corner of the table that Asmodeus is carrying.
I'm actually not carrying the table. I'm probably a couple steps behind everyone, following the table.
Oh, okay. In that case, then Emma's just gonna make sure that you don't get hurt walking out, or like that you don't trip and fall.
I love the idea.
It's kind of like when
because you're staring intently.
Well, it's like one of those kids that like when like babies first learning to walk and you're like following them around with your hands out. That's Emo around Asmodeus.
Is Osmos the type?
In motion.
Osmos the type where he gets clumsy when he's focused? Because that would be endearing as hell.
I'm not sure I necessarily would say clumsy per se, but I could get so focused I don't recognize other things around me, perhaps until too late.
I see. I'll whisper.
Not clumsy, distracted.
Yeah.
I'll whisper Samuel as Osmodeus is doing some sort of clown show in which he is bending and shaking like to look at what's happening. And I'll say to Samuel, I really hope that Osmodeus hasn't lost it completely, because I really can't be the hot and smart one. I just, I can't hold both of those titles in this group. I just don't think I can do it. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't worry. He knows what he's doing.
I look over at the man chasing after a table and I go, okay, whatever you say, man.
I mean, he was smart enough not to chase after those flowers from before.
Listen,
ran into that field.
I didn't want to go into the field. I had to follow Sim.
I gave you a gun and told you to stay behind.
I refuse. You were my dad back then, okay? You can't boss me.
Wow. Okay. And as you continue following behind this table, you do notice that the odd constellation-like thing, and I might be getting my science wrong, but I believe Cassiopeia has 8 stars. So there are 8 little indentions on the table that do seem pretty fixed, like fixed points. And there's nowhere else where the little dandelion sprites have tried to burrow or take root. But those are the ones that you do pick up on that constellation at the minimum before the table goes out the door. And from the alley outside the door, you hear, whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening? What? Is there a fire? What's happening? As you all are carrying a whole dining table out the front door of a boarding house / cafe. Like this is not an everyday occurrence. I will let a person who wants to be the mouthpiece for the group and explain what is happening go ahead and do that before we do a nice little segue, take a break, and come back for a second.
Please let it be Emo. Please.
Yeah, I think
Do it.
that's hilarious. I'll start talking and I'll see Emma and think it's funnier, and I'll be like, Emma will explain. Right, Emma?
I'm so sorry. There was a squirrel bunny on the table, and I think everybody panicked a little bit. I'm not sure. I was in the kitchen doing dishes. Anyway, we thought the easiest thing to do was to get it out right away, I believe. And then she looks at Desdemona for confirmation of if that's what they were trying to do, and sees Cassiopeia like giving her thumbs up and is like, right then. So we weren't trying to make any trouble, and as you can see, nothing is broken, and we'll take it right back inside if that would please you.
Desdemona has to do a few ceremonies to make sure that a fairy didn't like curse it. Also, I don't know.
The only ceremony is slash and burn. It has
I
termites.
elbowed
We're
Desdemona
avoiding
so
building,
hard. Desdemona.
which is like you hitting a brick wall.
Desdemona. Desdemona. Shut the fuck up.
What? I am sheriff. I outrank him.
Desdemona. What she means to say is by slashing and burning. Like Emma says, we'll return it when we're done. It's not a big deal. We just had a little bit of a issue. We were speaking in metaphors, of course, when we say a little dust bunny. We mean to say, a lot of dirt. So much dirt. It was covering the house. Yeah, dander and all that. We'll clean it out here, it's kind of like how you shake out a rug and then we'll bring it back in. Not a big deal. On your way.
You just see them just point.
Good day.
Have a good day. And you see the person that was a little concerned because they kind of see that Dr. Lindsay is kind of in the background. That is when, probably combined with all of your explanations and that verification, seeing as Dr. Lindsay does some pretty bizarre stuff, they just say, okay, dust bunny, bonfire, squirrel. I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to say that I saw nothing. You just see the person just start to walk off. Don't shake out your tables to get the distance.
This place is not so bad. People don't ask questions.
It is an alley full of underground people, so hey. And at this point, we will go ahead and take a break so people can go get some hydration, stretch their legs, and so on, and then we can jump back in for the second half of this wonderful adventure into whatever this is. So we will be back soon, and we hope that you'll return us for the second half. Alrighty then, if you are in the audience and you notice that we are back, please let us know if you can hear us, because if you can't, we're going to proceed as if you can. And if we find out 20 to 30 minutes from now that you could not, then I hope you enjoyed our pantomime and silent film. We're going to put our hearts into it. So, there we go. We've got some people saying that they can see us. All right. When we left off, we had a table being removed from the premises of a boarding house um, by some Amazons. And we also had someone deciding to just walk away and not make a comment because lately things that would be considered strange are becoming slowly more normal. So no one's going to ask, why are you taking a table out of the boarding house? Like, especially if Dr. Lindsay is there, because there's no telling what happened on or around that table.
I'm honestly not sure how comfortable I am with Dr. Lindsay being his very presence is just a stamp of approval for whatever is going on.
Well, you've got a lot of people that attend your classes that you gave jobs for things and stuff like that. So it's a nod of respect that if you say the table needs to come out of the place, the table needs to come out of the room, you know. It has its limits.
Yes. This is a power I'm going to have to wield with great responsibility.
You got cred.
You've got some street cred.
Okay.
That does have its limitations. If they can make it make sense in their head, like, hey, it's a table, he's a doctor, they mentioned dust, okay. But had you had it already on fire and it's outside the building, that may have been a different discussion for 12 o'clock in the middle of the day. And when you helped rescue people from a factory that was being attacked by a dragon train, and all the various iterations of how that story has been told, Dr. Lindsay has some street cred. Not fear as much as I think you previously did, because no one actually understood what hoodoo was actually going on in that office, but some definite street cred. And Desdemona, what were you planning on doing with this table?
Oh, if no one stops her, she's gonna chop that thing apart and then light it ablaze.
Okay.
No, because Emo said that we were gonna put it back.
I can see this conversation happening over the table. Like,
please don't do that to Miss Desdemona. I said that we would put it back, and I don't like being a liar.
I respect that, Emo, but the problem is, whatever this is spreading on wood. I don't want it to spread to building.
Is there a way that we can disinfect the table without doing that? I'm sure the doctor has something.
You would have to ask the learned folks.
Dr. Lindsay has since walked outside, like holding this jar and just sort of like looking at it. And he's like, "Oh, just 1 sec." And he runs across the street to the office. Comes back maybe like 30 seconds a minute later with like elbow length rubber gloves, carefully carrying a jar.
Are they like the neon yellow ones?
Of like something. I mean, sure, yes.
Love it.
Dr. Lindsay doesn't, worry about fashion or anything like that. So, just bright yellow rubber gloves, and takes this jar and it's like, okay, nobody jostle, and carefully takes the lid off, and then like just a little dropper. Just droppers it all over the area where the things are growing on the table.
I'm scared. Is this acid?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I love you, Brian.
This
This is
This
gonna
is-
destroy that table.
this is 100%. Now, theoretically, it will damage the table a little bit,
Mhm.
but I've already like cut a big chunk out of like
That's true.
right. So I mean, like I'm basically I'm just acid etching around, but I'm trying to get like every little fluff that's like embedded itself into the table. I'm just like burning with, I don't know. I want to call it like baryonic acid just because that sounds cool, but I have no idea what that word actually means. Somebody can look it up. But yeah, and you can see like the table is like smoking and smoldering and I mean eventually I've doused it with enough acid that there is now just this sort of like roughly cup-sized hole that is just straight through the table. Like just
Y'all
But,
have
I mean-
effectively jacked this table up, but there's no
But, I
more
mean-
spread. Like, there's
I mean, to be fair, 99% of this table is still perfectly good.
But you
There's
don't want
just-
to eat off of it.
You just this whole. Well, I mean, you probably want to wipe it down, and I would definitely suggest using a paste when you wipe it down, just to neutralize the. Anyway, but yes, but Dr. Lindsay is just like, and then carefully screws the lid back on the jar, and picks up the jar of like very very strong acid, and then looks at his handiwork, and he's like, "Yep, that's taking care of that."
Manticore venom. Babushka would be proud.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you could call it that.
So, should we tell Miss Frisia that we need a new table?
Probably.
Oh, yes.
I love the idea that we all like, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
For now, I would just put a tablecloth over top of that. No one needs to, and maybe like a placemat over top of just to, no one needs to see it until we can replace it.
We should probably keep that outside. The smell, it's not safe to smell what's coming off of this table.
It is outdoor seating now.
Well, it's fine to me.
On the other hand, you're probably going to need a table at your laboratory, aren't you? I mean, this one's already sort of broken in as well.
Probably gonna need more than a wooden table.
Well, you have to eat somewhere.
Yeah, not in the lab.
In any case, this is entirely my fault. I'll go settle up with the landlord, and instead of doing the clever thing, which would be to like go back into his office and put the acid away, and then go talk to the landlord, he just turns around and walks into the boarding house and intent on finding the landlord and like paying for the table that he's ruined. I mean,
Wait, we have Lord of Land. I left Hinterlands to get away from feudal system. I will not be paying tithes anymore.
it's not. No,
It's the person who owns the building.
Yeah.
Owns the building, not the land.
No.
All right,
That's correct.
I can live with that.
Well, I mean, yes, you can for a fee. And so yeah, wherever this, I mean, I'm, you don't need to follow me, but like wherever I end up, whoever I'm talking to, I am standing there with like elbow length neon yellow gloves, holding a jar of acid.
Oh, Desdemona is following close behind. I don't believe we have met before, Doctor, but I am Desdemona. I believe I have been conscripted as sheriff. So
Oh.
I apologize in advance for anyone I sent to your office.
Oh, that's quite all right. Pleasure to meet you, Desdemona. I'd shake your hand, but
Of course.
Acid. Okay, so
Would you
you've
call
got.
this an acid trip?
Oh my word. Okay. I am a storyteller. I can do this. All right. So as you head back into it, for the sake of narrative flow, you will notice that your familiarity with the boarding house and so on. Um, there is an owner. Um, Carrie doesn't usually get here until towards the afternoon. It's called the Carnation Cafe and Boarding House because there is a family with the last name of Carnation that owns it. They have a more hands off approach to it. It's more like an Airbnb type of situation. But they like to come and provide cafe like services towards the evening for their guests. But during the first part of the day, they have to fend for themselves. So when you do track down Carrie, Carrie is just like, okay, just please run it by me again. What has happened to the dining room table?
let's see. And I mean, Dr. Lindsay
Yeah.
is carefully, because he's not sure how much. I mean, he's used to weird stuff, and in general, the alley is used to like some weird stuff, but he also just doesn't want to get into it right now. So he's like, so we noticed that your table was becoming infested with something that would have like done more damage to the, let's call it termites. Let's just say that. Oh yeah. So I just happen to have this, and he holds up the jar of acid, like sloshes around. It's a very strong acid. It burns. It's very, very strong. Definitely got rid of the termites. Unfortunately, it also got rid of part of your table. Very sorry about that. I'd like to pay you to replace the table. And I mean, honestly, if you throw a tablecloth over it, put a placemat over it, you wouldn't even notice it's there. It's perfectly safe to use once you've tidied it up. But I will replace the table. The acid was my fault.
I will let you choose to roll bargain, fast talk, or persuade.
Oh, good. Well, I will use persuade.
Okay.
Since that is the only thing I actually have points in. Because occasionally doctors have to persuade people to take their medicine. So. Oh, it doesn't get much closer than that. 39 under 40.
You can see the skepticism on this shop owner, business owner, individual that's been at this for quite some time, and she just stares at you for a moment, and then double takes at Desdemona, looks back to Dr. Lindsay.
Desdemona's just standing there trying to cover the axe mark in the wall from when she tried to scare Petey. So
I was wondering, it came downstairs and there was no table. The dishes did seem to be washed. You are a respectable member of this community, Dr. Lindsay, and I know that whether it was a burn or a kitchen accident or so on, you can be depended upon to offer aid without any extreme expense. So I will trust that if you say that there were termites on this table, I'm not quite sure how that's possible, considering the finish and how it was designed and how we were just eating at it yesterday. But
Aye.
if
Well,
They are dire termites. They are like termites, but dire.
I do believe that any termite situation in and of itself is a dire situation. So I can appreciate that use of emphasis very well. We will send an invoice to your offices for the price of a table. This was actually gifted to us by the monarch when we built the boarding house to start with, because we started with little of nothing. But as the monarch says, that things that grow are meant to be used, and then once it is used, it returns back to the earth. So that new things can bloom and grow. It's a beautiful cycle. I think it's a complicated way of saying, well, you win some, you lose some, but I've got to clean up and get ready for business, and if that is a poisonous substance, I am going to politely request that you remove it from the premises of my establishment. And thank you both for your services.
I mean, technically, it's not poisonous. I mean, it would eat away your internal organs much faster than it would poison you. But I do take your point. Sorry.
All right. Yes. Good to see you, Doctor, as always. You, I'm not that familiar with, but welcome to the alley if you are new here. Never a dull moment. I will be in my office. And Gary just sort of swishes away. Let me go outside to the alley. Go ahead. Do you have any last minute things?
So I was just going to say, off screen, and probably later on, Dr. Lindsay arranges for this table to be taken over to, and I'm blanking on his character's name, but our carpenter friend.
Okay.
And I'm just like, yeah, Jason's Garrett. And it's just like, if there's just some way you can like fix it, like, can you just patch the hole and maybe put put some finish back on it? And it doesn't have to be brand new again, but I mean, just whatever you could do. Just bill me.
Take the legs off another table and stick it on top of this one. They'll never know.
And then there's the table in the corner going like, if any of my legs or planks can be of service. Anyway.
And off screen, there is when this does happen, and this would be a cutscene before it went back to now, like what's happening now. There is a small squirrel with a prosthetic leg, an arm, dressed in a small little vest, that is just watching you with this look of utter judgment and exasperation as you bring in this super jacked up table. An acorn just shakes his tiny little head as he considers the work that him and his work partner, the good carpenter, is going to have to put into this table. And you probably know you will see Acorn later. Acorn likes to be paid in food and nuts, and often pops up in the randomest of places to receive payment for who knows what, but he takes his job very seriously. So as we cut away from this very capable squirrel, the squirrel who taught Genevieve how to shoot, we go back to the alley where everyone has gathered. And Pete, you know what? I need everyone to roll a listen or a spot hidden.
My only skill.
Nope.
Okay.
It's a 70 out of 45 on a spot hidden. So
Both of mine are both spot hidden and listen are 65, and I got a 59.
Okay.
Bam.
I rolled a
I somehow got a
96, and I'm not
4.
going to look at my character sheet because I already know.
Okay.
81 out of 85 for spot hidden.
Okay.
Nice.
24.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just to say, I seem to have copied Cassiopeia because I got a 59 out of under 65.
Oh my god, you look, we're switching places. Maybe you can be the hot one. We can switch. I'll be the smart one, you be the hot one. That's kind of cute.
And I got 24 out of 45 for listen.
Alrighty then. If you did succeed, you were not surprised. If you did not succeed, Mo, as we are processing everything that just transpired, this wholly corrosively damaged table that is now outside of the boarding house until transported to its final destination. It's early afternoon in the alley, so there's not a lot of traffic, but as you watch, all of a sudden there's a voice beside you that just is like, and that's why I got out when I could. I knew something strange was going to happen. Something strange always happens with this lot, but whew. And it's Peony Pete and their diminutive is just leaning against the building right next to you. Everybody else kind of looks over and sees Pete unless they failed that roll. Everyone else would be surprised that they just popped out of nowhere.
oh, hi Pete.
I don't know what's happening half the time.
I don't either, but I just love watching it.
It's a bit stressful.
I mean, if you let it get to you, but I mean, I consider a few things, more stressful, like having to crawl out a window at the middle of the night. That's stressful. Less stressful as all get out. Not knowing that someone was not a single, as they said, very stressful. Swiping something from somebody that you didn't know owned the company that you were trying to pawn something at, hyper stressful. I think that's my biggest fear is that I've nicked something and I'm giving it back to the person, trying to sell it to the person it belonged to.
It's very stressful.
And oddly specific.
I've never stolen a thing from you in my life, Dr. Lindsay.
I know.
Yeah. Mostly
That's why.
because I'm scared.
I know.
I do feel the need to maybe retell someone with more power than us about what happened, because everybody keeps talking about this monarch person, and I don't know who that is, but they sound important. And Pete, you said that they knew about the wall dragon and all the spores and stuff. And then this happened, and that seems connected. So can we talk to them?
Okay. You just see Pete go.
Or do they not like to talk to new people?
I mean, I don't even once I once I decided being one of the that low top pillars wasn't for me, and they were cool with it. They were like, you don't have to do whatever you don't want to do. I don't really see the monarch as much. But looks at all of you. There is a way that I think all of you could get in to see the monarch.
Okay, let's do that.
But unlike the last time where it was because there was the demon fire plant in the middle, and y'all like saved the day, and then they took them to see the monarch.
No, I wasn't there for that.
Wow, that was a day and a half. Whew, that was a day and a half. That's when I first met you all. Yeah.
And Dr. Lindsay squints suspiciously at Peony. Go on.
You know what I told you about the tea? The monarch really, really, really hates the tea. And it had stopped for a while. And the monarch likes to see people express themselves physically or however they want, but it was like some stuff was happening in a way that they didn't really like, and so they like put a heck, can't do that anymore. Well, the teas have started again, and I'm pretty sure if you go and you win, and the monarch gets wind of the fact that you participated, definitely would get their attention. Like, they definitely would want to know who that was.
Yeah, let's do that. Emo, I think I can win. Do you think you can win?
It depends. But most likely.
No, Emma, you can win.
What is the tease?
Oh yeah, you're right. It's a code word because we have to be careful. But it's a fight. It's just fighting.
Oh
First
yeah,
blood or death?
No death. No death though. You can't get paid.
That's not a real fight.
More my speed than yours. But I think you could still enjoy it.
How tall is Emma again?
Like 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. She real big.
Okay, let me think. How tall is Cassiopeia? She doesn't like heels. She'll like clap Emma like on the back and be like, "Oh no, you can win, Emma. I believe in you."
Well, thanks for the confidence, Miss Cassiopeia. I'll do my best.
And
Desdemona believes in you too, right, Desdemona?
Absolutely. Go school those city slickers. Show them how fun and boring fight.
That's a very good point.
Can I gauge Emma's reaction to Desdemona's vote of confidence? Is she blushing? God damn it. I go over to Samuel and I go, these two are going to be hard to crack, but I think I can do it. No context. She gives you no context. She just says that to you, then goes and just leans and crosses her arms like she's doing something really good.
Yeah, Samuel just looks at the seed that he had since last season. The fact that he actually spoke to the monarch through this seed. He'll just pocket it and let them have their fun.
I was wondering if anyone was going to bring that up. And I love that Samuel was like, I could just call them, but you know what? We're just going to go and see what happens here.
I want to believe that Samuel was actually in the process of we want to talk to the monarch? Sure. Pulls out the seed and is like, yeah. You can go get hit.
So Peony said, oh, right then. Well, if you follow me, I can get you to the registration. Then in a couple hours it will start. I'm going to do start the coinage of my art. I'm not even going to say I want a piece of however much money that you win. Not because I don't want anything traced to me by the monarch, but also because I fully believe that you should get 100% of the rewards of your labor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Pete, do you actually think that if this goes down, the monarch wouldn't think you had a hand in it?
I don't know you that well, but I feel like that is a call out. Like, I feel like somehow you have looked into my soul.
How tall is Peony Pete?
Peony Pete is about 5'6", if that.
In heels, I'm taller than him, so good. I'll stand over him and be like, this is actually, now we're doing, that was a call out, this is a threat. If this is something skeevy you're trying to get yourself out of, I got your number. I will find you.
I need you to roll me a luck check quite quickly.
Damn it! Why luck? I have so much. I can't fast talk. Okay.
It's a different type of situation.
Okay. It's okay. It was 51 out of 55. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. Barely made it.
You just see Peon and Pete just look at you and just says, I don't really like children, but I would bear yours without hesitation. I mean, what was the question? What was the assignment?
I pause and I go, see, this is, I return to the group, not including Mo, and I'll tell the group, see, this is the reaction I was looking for when I met all of you. And all of you just kind of give like very baseline, Mo, you're cool. The rest of you, you are aware that I'm hot, right? Like, are you aware of that? Like, even if you aren't sexually attracted to me, y'all know that I'm like aesthetically attracted. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, you're very pretty, but I'm gay, so...
Emma is blushing profusely, like opens her mouth like she's about to tell you, like, yeah, you're pretty, and then closes her mouth again.
Thank you so much, Pete. I resigned my threat. You're adorable.
I mean, you're a lovely young woman. I just don't feel the need to do anything about it.
I feel no need to point out the obvious.
All right, well, if you all knew this the whole time, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Whatever.
You just have Peon and Pete just, oh my goodness. There's those books that you can read. I don't like reading, but there was this lovely person, and they liked these books that you could read where it was like a self, like it was like written in it, like it was your perspective, and all these wonderful, fantastical stuff would be happening in these books. And I was like, this is like, I'm living that out, and I have mixed feelings about that. Because, anyways, I'm going to take you to the tea house. So you can, get registered. You've got a doctor. These two, like, looks to the scientists and then Desdemona. I'm pretty sure you could handle yourself no matter what, whether you fight, not fight. That for moral support, I don't know how they do in this thing.
Is there any person who walks around in the middle and wears a cute little outfit and shows the numbers?
I could talk to someone about that.
Cool, I can do that. That's what I'll do.
He is happy to talk to someone about that.
He's like, but not for any other reason outside. I want you to feel like fully and completely like a contributor to this whole process. The smart people, not say that no one else in this group is smart, but like the ones that, should someone have given me a complicated book, I would have come to you and said, hey, what does this mean? You lot, are you scrapping or just coming to watch? Looks at the scientist and the doctor like...
I look at Samuel's answer closely. Yeah, guys, you're going to become the tough ones too. We're all growing out here.
Well, I wanted to examine these samples.
Okay, so boring stuff. All right.
Oh, you're staying behind? Can't you examine them? Fine, you can stay. Okay.
Well, it nearly destroyed a table.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'll be coming along to just look after the fighters. I just need to go put this down, and it's actually getting a bit warm. It shouldn't be out in the sun too long. And with that, he goes back into his office, and it's an exothermic acid. It's anyway.
Yes, that's. Asmodeus.
I'm looking for a place to sit down. I have one of my notebooks out, pencil, and I'm sketching what I saw on the table and comparing it to what I've normally observed when I've been looking at the stars to see if I can note any differences between the constellation table versus sky, and I'm still focused on that. So if someone just leads me to a place to sit, I'll be there watching the fight, but I may not know what's going on.
I love the fact that probably Samuel is the one most used to this work process, and he's just like, just bring him along. He'll just follow. Just come on. He's just gonna go. But does he need it? No, he's fine. He's just gonna do that for a while. So as this is happening, and we start to wrap up for this wonderful episode, half I don't know. Let's see. Was everyone planning on going to the tea house, or do we have a few people that want to stay behind to look at something else?
Yeah, I think Samuel wanted to go check out the sand, but at least put it somewhere safe.
Okay. But still ultimately end up at the tea house.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
I mean, we could just put it in Dr. Lindsay's icebox. With all the rest of his food. Look, Dr. Lindsay is a doctor, not an actual scientist.
Yep. I love Dr. Lindsay. Just matter of fact, just put it there beside the...
Just shove the leftover pot roast off to the side and stick it there. It'll be fine.
Do you have a desiccator or anything like that to dry things out?
No, but I can stick it in a pan on the warming oven or the warming shelf in the oven.
That should work.
All right.
Oh, this is the start of a beautiful scientific relationship. So as the sun moves across the sky in the way that it does, and the afternoon headed towards the evening, and plans are made, and wraps are gained, and doctor's bags and such are filled with what they need to be, Marty knows what's going to happen and just quietly hands Cassiopeia like a basket and a bag, and one has like an extra change of clothes for Sim in it, and the other one has some food and snacks, and is like, do not tell me. Just Cal hasn't been sleeping well. We're just gonna stay here. Family looks out for family. Gives
Hold
you a
it.
pat.
I hold Marty's hand. He goes for a pat. I grab him. I don't really think I'm ready to look after. You always take care of Sim. I don't think I should go by myself. I'm really nervous. I know there's going to be a doctor, but I don't think it's a good idea for me to go. What if something happens? What if they start a fight? I don't think I can fight good. I need to bring out a gun, and we're not supposed to bring the guns in, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If he's in real danger, I think it's a soulmate thing. I'll probably be there, but for now,
cool.
I think you're fine. I would change corsets just a little bit to give you a little bit more support and a little bit protection.
Okay.
I finished hemming one of your cloaks in there if you want to change into that one.
Thanks, Marty.
And I'd wear the hair up, not down, because it's a fight and there's going to be a lot of...
Yeah, I was thinking that.
It's a lot
Marty,
of...
I don't know how to tell you. Should I have a feeling I know the answer, but like, I've just recently realized Sim, I don't think, knows what conning is, and I feel like as your adopted child, someone should tell him. Should I do that, or do you want to?
I think there's a difference between not knowing what conning is and not like connecting it to who you were or are trying to be.
I can't stress that I am even if I'm not active.
You're not actively. It is part of your name and it is part of your identity, but it is not the whole of who you are. as an
That's-
individual.
That's so sweet. I do enjoy it. Doesn't matter. Okay, thank you so much for hemming my things. I'll go put my corset on.
Yeah, but just here's the thing. He knows what it is, the action. He doesn't always know the title for it, but once he clocks it, he's very good at what he does. He's
Okay.
very good at what he does. And hey, we'll talk one day about things.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
I'll
Be safe.
I
Well, don't-
will.
Yeah.
I'll put out like a bat signal or something if something happens to Sim. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, Martin just heads back to where he was to take care of Cal. And out in the alley, again, the wind, the nice breeze that flows through the alley. There's a few items that are caught on the breeze. A few of those little dandelion sprites occasionally swirl on a gust of wind. And Asmodeus has already clocked one, and he'll probably clock another in another day. But it's amazing how close the stars have come to the alley in the form of these sprites. And with that, we will go through our epilogues as next week we make it to the tea house. But time for us to wrap up this episode. I had a wonderful time. And if this was a TV show, this would be the camera panning to each character as they go over their internal monologue or whoever you want to call it. And we'll do our epilogues. And we will start with Emma. Tell us a little bit about what's going through your character's head, and then who you are and where we can find you, and we'll flash your outro tag.
Great. Emo is getting ready for boxing tonight, so she's going to say goodbye to everybody and then head back to her room at Dr. Lindsay's, and she's going to do some like exercising, and then she's gonna eat a specific meal that she always eats before she goes to boxing matches, and then she's going to lay on the floor and stare at the ceiling until someone comes to get her, because that is her way of prepping. Is that it's her like version of meditation, but she doesn't know what meditation is. She just knows that she likes quiet time before she's gonna go box.
All right.
And I'm Nikki, and you can find me as halfling_Nick pretty much everywhere. I use social media, so Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that. You can also catch me on TRPG's channel, and that's in the chat. And that's it.
Alrighty then. And then the camera would pan to Sim.
So Sim prepares for a fight in a very different way, which is to say he just sort of shows up. Sim is always ready for a fight, and so if he has some warning about one, even better, because then he doesn't have to be on guard. Sim is a little mixed right now. Very excited to go fight and talk to the monarch and get all that figured out. It's been a minute since he's had a good fight that wasn't against like a robot carrot or something. And the other half of that is fear for his family, both found and blood, because Kyle just had one of these things in his room. Just chilling there. Cool. I took off my wraps because they were too tight, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. name is Rowan. I have been playing Sim Valentine tonight. His pronouns are he, him, which are specifically the ones that I don't use, because mine are they, she. And you can find me on the internet as Red White RP. I do a variety of things on there earlier in the day, on Sundays, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm on Nerds with Dice doing Vampire the Masquerade. I'm the GM. It's a lot of fun. And then also be sure to check out the Fae Realm, FAE, which is a LGBT plus and BIPOC inclusive and safe tabletop RPG channel that I'm the creative lead for. Our new season starts next week. We got cool things happening.
And the camera would pan to Desdemona. What's going through Desdemona's mind? And who are you and where can we find you?
Desdemona's probably mulls it over for a while, then decides that she'll probably register anyway because this sounds like the kind of element that she should, do a show of strength for if she's going to be sheriff around these parts. And she'll try to leave them breathing, at least. She also has no prep for fights because she's just kind of set to go. In her own words, she's an apex predator, so she has nothing to worry about. I've been Velvet. I use favorite pronouns, and you can find me pretty much everywhere on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar. Besides here on Sunday evenings, you can find me Saturday evenings over at the Bard's Playhouse for Fall of London, Vampire 5e campaign. And you can also catch me on the Fae Realm. Like Rowan mentioned, our season 2 is starting up, so follow us there and be on the lookout for a new schedule.
All right. Camera would pan to Cassiopeia.
Hi, my name is Bella. I have been Cassiopeia. What is Cassiopeia up to? She's just checking out what was packed and seeing what she's gonna do. Thinking about how to explain to Sim that it's that conning is like acting, but the other person doesn't know they're paying for it. They don't know they're paying for this performance. Yeah, tell me that. And my name is Bella. I can be found on Boondockles, on Twitter, and Instagram, and a bunch of other social medias where you should follow me. I am taking kind of a break outside of the games I'm already in to just nap, work, go to school, sleep. Did I already say sleep? Sleeping was very important. I have moved it up on priority list. I am so happy to be back playing. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so glad to be back with these people. I have been very off today, but next week I will be hot again. So don't worry, everyone. I will be tits out, not all out, because then Honey would be mad at me. A little bit out. All right. Thank you.
All right. The camera would pan to Asmodeus.
Asmodeus is focused on his pad where he's drawing the constellation that he saw on the table. And he's got a number running through his head, and that number is 3. Because he remembers from before 3 extra stars in the skies. And he wants to confirm because this may be metagaming, but there's 5 stars that are normally seen when you're viewing the constellation Cassiopeia. At least, in my backyard with my naked eye. So, is he misremembering that fact in this world, or are there 3 extra stars? And that's where he is. So, my name's Paul. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Kiter, where I talk about either gaming stuff or been talking more about my job, which is physics lately. You can find me here because there's no place I'd rather be.
Okay. And the camera would pan to Samuel Favorite.
Yeah, Samuel's just thinking to himself as he brings the sample to Dr. Lindsay to put away. Why is everybody so roundabout about what they need to do? Even you, and he looks at the sea, just told us what we needed to do. And he just walks out to try to go to meet everyone to go to the fight. But mostly he's just wondering what's gonna come next. And I'm Ryan, Sphinx RL on Twitter, Sphinx RL on Twitch. Mostly lurked in people's channels, but right now I'm on We the Tales cult game on Friday nights at 9 Central when I'm not here, and I City Miss game. We have one more game, I think. Okay.
And last, but certainly not least, we go to our good Dr. Lindsay, who has been thrown into another adventure.
From the outside, Dr. Lindsay is just bustling around. He's putting the acid away. He's taking off his gloves. He's getting materials together for the fight. He checks his bag to see if he has enough gauze. And then he just grabs a bunch more gauze anyway and stuffs it into the bag. What's going through his head is that, they sort of barely survived the last time there was something. I mean, everyone's very excited that they fought a dragon and put an end to it. But even if none of his compatriots died in that, he sort of looks around and he sees that, like, he's sort of the last one standing. Like, everyone's gone back to their lives, and he doesn't fault them for that. That was a horrible experience, but he's a little concerned about whether or not this new group of friends, how they'll fare, and whether their family will stick together. And then he snaps his bag shut and starts heading towards the door, and then stops. And it's awfully quiet in the house. And he goes over to the door to Emo's room, and he's just like, Emo, time to fight. And Emo and Dr. Lindsay and Samuel head off to the fight. And I have been Brent. I am at Clockwork Canada on Twitter, which is pretty much the only social media I use these days. You can also find me at therathole.ca and renaissancegamer.ca. The first one is a site that I write tabletop role-playing game editorials and like for. And the second is my website that I also write about tabletop role-playing games. And I'm not doing that. I'm also a freelance tabletop and science fiction editor. So, yeah.
Alrighty then. And as this episode wraps with the dandelion sprites floating on the air and the camera panning out on this alley as everyone is tense and ready and preparing in their own way for the fight, that is the end of episode 3 of Clockwork Vines, Alstroemeria Alley. I have been Honey, aka Honey and Dice, your storyteller. Um, I write games, I run games, I play games. Mostly, I'm just everyone's biggest cheerleader. And as always, I want to encourage everyone who is viewing this live or anyone who views this on VOD, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube, to remember to love your you. And if that's hard today for whatever reason, that's okay. Because it's okay to be okay, and it's okay to not be okay. Either way, surround yourself with people who support you during your successes and your challenges. If they're not there when the going gets tough, they weren't there to start with. But I want to be there for you. And I'm there for everyone who is watching and everyone who is playing. Because I love you. And my world is a better place simply because you exist. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hope you have a wonderful start of your day whenever you do watch this. And who are we going to raid? Because that's the thing that we do now.
I have a suggestion in Zoom chat.
Okay, I don't know how to who that is, but I'm going to try it as you watch me in real time type this out. But I love you all and have a wonderful time. If you are still lingering in the chat, we're about to raid another channel. We love you and we'll see you next week. TikTok.